are these people?
Go to my website.
And at that website, there's also merch. So there's a button to pick up an INN t-shirt.
Buy my merch right quick.
Oh, check out that merch. Check it out. Oh, Reef's wearing a beanie. Look at that. Oh, he's heating up his dab rig right now. So yes, you can get an INN beanie over at the merch store too. You go to indienewsnow.com, click on the merch store, and you can pick up one for yourself. Now, I did want to bring this other story from another Indie Media Award honoree, Common Dreams, talking about the ramping up of fascism and how journalism is not a crime and how they are now trying to Israelize the media here in making anyone that reports on the media, on the military, now get cleared by the military. Trump's new restrictions on Pentagon reporters should alarm every American. And John Queally, who is the managing editor over at Common Dreams, stepped out from behind his editor's desk to write this one. He doesn't write very often.
Pentagon.
That's correct. Pentagon. Okay. Journalists and defenders of press freedom are expressing alarm and condemnation after the Pentagon, under the command of a President Donald Trump and Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, Drunken Pete, Whiskey Pete, announced new restrictions on reporters that include pre-approval of stories that include even unclassified material and a new pledge not to publish any material without permission from government officials. How about now? New York Times, among the first to report on a 17-page memo detailing the new rules, noted how the, quote, move could drastically restrict the flow of information about the U.S. military to the public. Like they're intending. The National Press Club, thank you, the National Press Club was quick to rebuke the restrictions as an assault on the public's right to know and fundamental journalistic freedoms, which is exactly the point. Quote, the Pentagon is now demanding that journalists sign a pledge not to obtain or report any information, even if it's unclassified, unless it's been expressly authorized by the government? This is a direct assault on independent journalism at the very place where independent scrutiny matters most, the $1 trillion a year funded U.S. military.
I can't tell you that. It's classified.
Here you've got Seth Stern, director of advocacy at Freedom of the Press Foundation. I've got my issues with them. Explained to the Times that the government is prohibited by law from demanding journalists surrender their right to investigate the government in exchange for access or credentials. Quote, this policy operates as a prior restraint on publication, which is considered the most serious of First Amendment violations. They don't care. They wipe their ass with the Constitution. The government cannot prohibit journalists from public information merely by claiming it's a secret or even it's a national security threat. Except that's exactly what they've been doing for 20 years, at least. All right. In comments to WAPO, Katie Fallow, Deputy Litigation Director at the Knight First Amendment Institute at Columbia University. Look, you've even got the Zionists at Columbia University, man, called the new policy part of the Trump administration's broader assault on free speech and press freedom, which it is. Any journalist, she added, who publishes only what the government authorizes is doing something other than reporting. I believe a man named Julian Assange said something similar.
Yeah.
All right. The journalism is publishing something that people don't want published. Everything else is just PR or stenography.
WikiLeaks, the Julian Assanges.
Individual journalists, including veteran reporters who've covered the Pentagon for years or decades, also chimed in. Of course, they have. Okay. Taropin said that the rule forbidding the unapproved release of unclassified material, sometimes marked with the acronym CUI, is an incredibly broad and ill-defined rule that could easily be abused. Again, that is their intent. Can't say that enough. So, again, alarming. You need to know that this is what's happening, and you're going to get a lot more sanitized military stories coming out and a lot less stories critical of the U.S. military. Now, because of that, we're certainly not going to be remonetized. I was going to ask people that if you're able to and have means, please support the stream. Okay. The ways to do that are a Cash App, $ Indie News Network, at co-fi.com/Indie News Network. You got paypal.me/Indie News Network. Got IndieNewsNow.com. We're actually live over there now. We still host over there. We self-host. And then we've got the Substacks, INNewsletter.com, where we're going to be live later on tonight for boats smashing into other boats. And we're live right now at IndieMediaToday.com, where actually you see the newest name on the board, Darren Sweeney, became a paid annual subscriber over at IndieMediaToday.com today. So thank you, Darren. I was able to get that up on the slide before we went live. And we really appreciate all the support to help us fund the media you want to see, pay our bills. We just got hit with a Canva bill last week. That was close to $300. We've got the Restream bill for almost $700 coming up later on this year. Zoom bill. And then there's the monthly subscriptions that we have. And again, this is what we need to do to be able to create content and make good shows. And, you know, Reef and Colin had a theme song made earlier, an all new look and creative. And that cost us a little bit. And we're helping Angel fund a laptop. And we also, hopefully, once we get that all paid, I'd like to do some mutual aid in the fourth quarter of this year. Mm-hmm. That would be really nice to be able to do. Love you all. Thank you for hanging out. Support independent media because we need it more than ever. We'll see you soon, fam. No! We just fucking lost the stream!
I guess this isn't such an awful place. Is that what you want me to say? You prove it's possible to sleep for days, and I still think you're right here awake. The cost of living isn't much to me, but God, it's so